Haribol. Our actual translator is up there.
Okay.
I'm just going to do some imitation for a while.
Okay.
So this is Yudamanyu Das. He is from Shanghai, which we have renamed Shantipur. The various cities in China where there are devotees, each of them have their devotional names. So he comes from Shantipur. The capital is known as Braja. That's Beijing. And then the other major city, which is in the south, Guangzhou, I assume some of the devotees go there to do business, is known as Govardhan. All of these names were given by Tamal Krishna Maharaj and other devotees at that time. Braja. Yes, Beijing. It's either Peking or Beijing. Same place, yeah. So I thought it would be much more interesting for everyone for Yudamanyu to speak. So that's what he's going to do. And I'll paraphrase his words.
Vanchakatopya chakripashintopya ocha paritanam pavanepyo vasnepyo namamaha. 其实这是我第一次来到孟买。
This is his first visit to Bombay.
然后3年以前，我曾经和全世界帕普还有其他的一些中国奉献者去了玛雅坡和文达文。
His first visit to India was 3 years ago, and he went to Mayapur and Vrindavan.
然后其实呢，在多年以前我就已经听说，就是有很多奉献者跟我说，就是孟买有一个非常好的庙。
Some devotees from Shanghai had visited this temple previously, and he had heard about it from them.
然后那里有非常美丽的神像，非常甜美的奉献者。
The deities are very beautiful, and the devotees are very sweet.
然后今天一早，我们在蒙古拉提的时间赶到了孟买。
什么？
我们今天在那个蒙古拉提的那个时间，我们赶到了孟买。
And we arrived in Bombay today during the Mongolatic time, not in the temple, but in the train station.
但是因为我们是坐火车来，所以我们可能没有很快就来见庙里见那个打扫。
So we didn't come to see the deities this morning.
然后在天刚刚亮的时候，我看了一下这个孟买这个城市。
什么？
在天还没刚刚亮的时候，我看到了孟买。
As the sun rose, then of course he could see the city.
然后我发现，就孟买在很多方面和北京和上海有很多类似的地方。
And he feels it's similar to Shanghai and Beijing.
但是
generally it's said that Mumbai is very similar to Shanghai. And Calcutta is very similar to Guangzhou. And of course Delhi would be more similar to Beijing.
但是我觉得最大的不同，我们那里没有庙宇，这里有庙。
The biggest difference is there's no temple.
这里有漂亮的神像，我们那里没有。
And no beautiful deities like here.
这里有非常甜美的奉献者。
And many.
我们那里很少。
A large group of sweet devotees. There we have a small group of sweet devotees.
所以这就是差别。
So those are the big differences.
所以这里还有很好的古的讲课，还有非常丰盛的菩萨的。
And of course, more senior Vaishnavas here to lecture and give association, and of course much more prasadam.
还有很多伟大奉献者的足迹，伟大奉献者他们走过的足迹。
足迹是什么？
足迹什么？
Oh, and She can't help herself. 好，说。
所以我们觉得，我们有时候我们觉得非常的不幸。
So sometimes we feel very unfortunate.
但是呢，这次来了印度，我又感到我们非常幸运。
But by coming to India, by coming to the holy places, they feel very fortunate also.
就在上个星期，我们去了加格纳普里。
Before we came here, we were in Jagannath Puri.
我们去了加格纳庙，我们去了那个加格纳的庙，但我们在门外。
We went to visit the Jagannath temple, but of course we couldn't go inside.
然后我们在门外，在大声的 kirtan。
And we had a kirtan outside the Jagannath, the Simhadwara gate.
我们非常热烈的那种 kirtan， 深情的 kirtan， 吸引了加格纳特的注意。
再说。
我们的那个当时的那个kirtan， 我们在那里非常非常欢快、非常热烈的 kirtan。我相信加格纳特已经听到了。
So the devotees had a very nice kirtan, and he felt that Lord Jagannath heard the kirtan from inside.
虽然我们没有进入这个庙，
Although we couldn't go in,
但是加格纳他出来见我们了。
but Lord Jagannath came outside to see, which is what Madhavananda keep telling us again and again and again when we were there.
所以我就那个时候我们就祈祷，在不久的将来，在中国的各个地方，在不同的城市，都有这样美丽的加格纳的庙宇。在不久的未来。
So we hope in the not too distant future we'll be able to have similar temples in the different cities of China.
所以，我们来这里，我们是在祈求，奉献者仁慈，奉献者，我们的Krishna Radha Gopinath 的仁慈，能够祈求你们给予我们所有中国人祝福。
So we pray to all the devotees and to the presiding deities for all of your mercy.
虽然我们中国在过去的20年、30年，已经发生了非常大的变化，可以说是一种翻天覆地的这种变化。
Over the last 20 or 30 years, China has changed dramatically in many, many ways.
很多人他的生活各个方面都发生了非常大的这种生活各方面都发生了很大的变化。
The life of the Chinese people has very much changed in the last 20 or 30 years.
而且这个国家也变得越来越开放。
And the country is gradually becoming more and more open also.
那么我们也有机会能够到印度来朝圣。
For example, we're able to come to India on pilgrimage.
在中国也有越来越多的印度人到中国来旅游、来做生意。
And more people from India go to China for either business or traveling.
但是我们需要的是，对神的爱，对神的爱，对 Krishna 的爱。
我们
需要的是对 Krishna 的爱。
谁需要？
我们需要的是。
But the
我们需要得到的。
We the devotees would want, even though, in other words, the life has changed so much, the country has changed so much, etc. But we still need Krishna prema.
因为对我们来说，我们唯一需要的就是我们没有得到的，就是对 Krishna 的爱，对 Krishna 的 prema。
So even though the life has changed in so many ways, but the most important requirement is, of course, Krishna prema.
所以祈求所有的奉献者，如果将来你们有机会去中国的话，一定要把对 Krishna 的爱带给我们所有的中国人。
So he prays for the blessings of the devotees to help give some Krishna prema to them, the Chinese
所以
us.
祈求神像，祈求所有的 Vaishnava 给予中国人特别的仁慈。
And that you all pray to the deities and your own prayers to give more blessings to the Chinese people.
让所有的中国的奉献者，在他们未来的奉献服务当中能够面临各种各样的困难，能够不断的前行，克服种种的困难，毫无障碍。
That they will be able to overcome the various obstacles in their practice.
非常非常感謝。
Haribol. Up the northeast of China, from a place called Hegan, which is a little town way up in the northeast. Yeah, so this place, Hegan, the name is Madhuvan. And there's a group of perhaps 40 or 50 devotees in that particular little town. 好，你说，随便吧，几分钟。
我今天来到这里，真是我生生世世以来最大最大的幸运。
She feels very, very fortunate to have come here today.
首先，我要感谢我的 Guru Radhanath Swami Guru 对。
She thanks her spiritual master, Giridhari Swami.
他给我特大的仁慈和鼓励。
For giving her so much encouragement and mercy.
能在奉爱服务的路途上移去更多的障碍。在奉爱服务的路途上移去更多的障碍。
That in the process of bhakti yoga, there are a lot of obstacles removed. Many obstacles were removed.
我们作为中年人，应该把中国的奉献者，把中国那些沉睡的灵魂，应该唤醒。我们要做一个优秀的工具。
I didn't get that. So she said the devotees in China have the responsibility to awaken love of Krishna in the hearts of the other Chinese people.
中国虽然人口众多
The population of China is huge.
宗教也很多
Many different sorts of religious practices.
但是修习 Krishna 知觉的人不多
But devotees of Krishna are not very many.
非常非常的艰难
Jiannan means difficult. Very, very difficult.
不论以后我们遇到多大的困难和挫折
Whatever difficulties we'll experience in the future,
我们一定要把巴格迪的奉爱传遍乡村城镇
but we'll continue to spread bhakti yoga everywhere and every time, however difficult it might be.
这是我们中国人的心声
This is the Chinese people's responsibility.
Hare Krishna
Oh,
感谢你的
sorry.
仁慈
So
I would now like to request His Grace Chandrasekhar Prabhu, who has taken up this very Herculean task of being the governing body commissioner, the GBC for this region of China. And he is a very, very enthusiastic preacher. He has been debarred from China. He is not allowed to go to China, but sitting in other places, he is remote controlly managing the whole preaching in China. So I'd like to hear from him how he does it.
I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Actually, I don't do very much. With such a big country, you can't really do very much. Most of what is done by the local devotees in the various parts of the country. And myself and the other overseas devotees who serve there, then we just try to help where we can and to maybe offer some coordination and some encouragement and guidance and so on and so forth. But as you know, as we say in English, the sky's the limit. China is such a huge country. I mean, it has 1.3 billion people. Although I understand India is going to overtake it in numbers by the year 2030 or something like that. But it's such a vast country, and there will always probably be somewhere for the next 100 or 200 years where you would be pioneering. And we've really, most of the devotees are along the eastern coast of the country. There's still the west, the hinterland, which is vast and huge, and many of the provinces have more population than whole countries, most countries in the world. So it's really, the sky is the limit as far as service opportunities are available. So if you want a service opportunity, you can sign up. long-term service opportunity. And of course, the devotees, like anywhere in the world, they need a lot of mature, senior guidance and help, and it's the same there. One advantage, in one sense, there is an advantage in not having temples, because as Maharaj was saying earlier, when you don't have something so easily, then you tend to value it quite a bit more. And you're not doing it because it's easy, you're not doing it because your grandparents told you so, you're not doing it because your friends encouraged you, you're doing it because you're doing it because you feel you have to do it, you have to practice the process of devotional service. So as is the case with the devotees from that part of the world, they don't really have any social support. Very rarely do they have any family support. And not having temples, again, helps to make them value more what they're able to get, because they can get so little, so they're much more, in a way, eager to get what they're able to get, even if it's not very much. And it's always a pleasure, of course, to serve with such devotees who have simple hearts and who are very sincere. But like any country in the world, it also has, and after all, we're all human. So there's a long, long way to go. And of course, I'm very thankful that I'm able to serve there. And I pray to the devotees and to the deities that I can continue serving there in the future. Thank you. We do have another devotee who should speak, but his voice is not working, so he can't and that's Krishna Baladev Prabhu. He's probably sitting around here somewhere. He's also been serving in the yatra for over 20 years. Where is he? He's in the back, there he is. He's also serving in the yatra. He's been serving in the yatra with his wife for over 20 years, Mother Swasti. And in spite of all, again, difficulties and obstacles, we don't have a temple. Devotees who serve don't have a temple environment. You have to wear non-devotional clothing all of the time. And you have to make do with what you have. And the overseas devotees who serve there, and there's a handful of them, they're all self-financed. So Prabhu has been serving in that way for the last 20 years also. And the devotees, in affectionate terms, he's known, among the Chinese devotees, he's known as Ashu, which means uncle. So he's the uncle of our devotees there, and has been for so many years. And of course, they all love him very much, as we all do, and we're very thankful that we have such surrendered devotees, in spite of everything, who remain there serving year after year, not for their own personal comforts, but in order to help the Chinese devotees and to spread Krishna consciousness there. So he would be speaking, but his voice isn't working due to the air-conditioned trains. So you give a clap to him also. One more thing, and whilst we're all here, whilst all the devotees are here, as you are able, please give them your association, although it might be hard to find a translator because not all of them speak English, but you can try sign language and a few hugs and kisses and all that sort of thing. Mostly, as you notice, most of the group are ladies, so there's more service for the lady devotees. But if you could do that when they're here, give them a few hugs and kisses and so on, I'm sure they'll be very appreciative and happy if you did that.
Hare Krishna. Personally, it was very inspiring and very uplifting to be here amongst all these devotees who have come from China and to hear and to understand a little bit about the sacrifice that is required just to practice Krishna consciousness, what to speak about trying to spread Krishna consciousness, which is even more so. Radhanath Maharaj mentioned how, also in Russia, similar circumstances were similar with the oppression and having to go underground, having to keep one's identity somewhat very much secret in both practice and the different people you meet, not knowing who you're meeting. But we see, and history has a tendency to repeat itself, that by the determination and the conviction that comes by way of the practice of Krishna consciousness and becomes solidified in the association of similar-minded devotees, that the social and political situation has a tendency to change, which is Krishna's arrangement to allow the devotees to be able to preach more freely and to practice more freely. So it's Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's very, very eager to bring every soul to Krishna consciousness. His enthusiasm is pushing his devotees to do whatever they can to practice, to purify their hearts and to preach Krishna consciousness. And we see when more and more cultures, more and more people from different types of backgrounds, lifestyles, which sometimes are so completely different from ours, come together as brothers and sisters in one family. We can see how amazing it is that what is Krishna consciousness, how it transcends all these material designations, material conditionings. And Srila Prabhupada would proudly say that this is the real United Nations. He would say, referring to the material United Nations, how they're trying to bring countries together under one banner of unity, but it's complete failure because it's simply based on, we say, bodily desires, activities. It's complete failure. But when we come to the practice of devotional service, we transcend all these differences and we actually come to the platform of unity, and that is to work together, to cooperate together, and to serve the Lord in devotional service. And how, when that unity becomes strong, how deep it takes root within the soul, and how one is willing to do whatever is required to serve the spiritual master and to spread Krishna consciousness. I was really, although I heard the translations, I also was listening very carefully to the devotees as they were speaking in their language, and I could sense from their hearts and from their words that there's a real sense of conviction that comes by way of their practice. And this is glorious. And as Maharaj said, we can all learn from these devotees about what it means to be a devotee in such a difficult circumstance, and how that difficulty, in one sense, brings out such good qualities of a Vaishnava that they're willing to risk their lives for their practice and to spread Krishna consciousness to others. So we thank the devotees for coming here and to inspire us all, and we hope, of course, this is the ideal place to come to get Vaishnava association, Vaishnav's, what we say, friendship. And I know you'll be taken care of very nicely by the devotees under the guidance of Radhanath Swami. So please, thank you all for coming, and we hope we can serve you in some way or other. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada, Jai.